One video, one TikTok video, is what it took to push a man to kill the mother of his 9-year-old child. A man who was so possessive of his ex-wife, although by 2021 he'd been split from her for 2 years. She wasn't allowed no space, no time to move on, no time to heal, and if Stony Stoica couldn't have her, no one else could. Rewinding back to 2009, a young Romanian couple, Stony Stoica and Beatrice decided it was finally time to get married. The first few years of marriage were good. They had really started to settle down with each other, Beatrice even going on to give birth to their first daughter. The pair would eventually relocate from their homeland of Romania, where all those good memories were, to the UK to start some new ones. There wasn't enough source material about this case to say when and why the couple decided to move, but in 2014 it's believed that Stony picked up a new job as a truck driver, and the rest is history. Over the next few years, the cracks would begin to show, and after Stony picked up a gambling addiction, it had put a strain on the marriage. That, added with Stony's possessiveness of his wife, only signalled red flags to Beatrice, so she called it a day and the couple decided to get divorced in 2019. Although the couple split, they still kept in contact and tried to have a somewhat healthy relationship for the sake of their daughter. Beatrice allowed Stony to stay at weekends, but instead of spending time with his daughter, he attempted to rekindle the relationship. Behind the scenes then, Stony had become enraged, and now that he didn't have her, the jealousy got 10 times worse than it already was. In a Facebook message around the time of the divorce to Stony's first wife, he had married before Beatrice, he told her, quote, "No one else would ever get their chance with Beatrice, as he would kill her with a knife." That message was sent in late 2019. It may have not been taken all too seriously by anyone at that time, and the alarm clearly wasn't raised to Beatrice because she continued to allow Stony to visit her on the weekends for the sake of their child. By early 2020, Beatrice had moved to a 1-bedroom flat on Lordship Lane, East Dulwich, with her daughter and started to become an avid user on TikTok. Once Stony got wind of this, however, he started to bombard her with hundreds of messages a day, dishing out insults. By the summer of 2020, Beatrice decided it was time to meet someone new, a fresh start. She had just moved into a new place, and so it was time for a new partner. So in comes Cloudy Matata, and the pair hit it off instantly. Both Beatrice and Cloudy had a reasonably sized TikTok following by that summer, and would create content together, enjoying their newly found fame. However, not everyone was happy for the new couple, and over the preceding months, Stony would create various social media accounts, beginning a campaign of harassment. After viewing the TikToks of them together, he called her number numerous times, telling her to delete the posts, adding, "You can't be with someone else, you're my wife." In hindsight, the early warning signs of a man waiting to explode were there though. In January of 2021, some months on, after receiving hundreds of death threats from Stony, Beatrice contacted the police to highlight the abuse to them. In those first round of police interviews, she told them he had previously attacked her before when he strangled her in 2018. Some police notes available in public records state that Beatrice had been in fear of Stony and appeared to be worn down by him. When police followed up some weeks later, she told them that despite the threatening messages, she didn't believe he would carry out the threats and wanted the report to be closed. So it was. On the 21st of July 2021, Beatrice posted a video of her lip-syncing a song with Cloudy on TikTok. At the end of the video, they blew a kiss to each other. To the audience, this was something harmless, but for Stony, it was the final straw. He demanded that she remove the video, but because her TikTok account is private, we're not 100% if the video is still up. Either way, 2 days after that video was posted, Beatrice received a text from Stony asking if she was okay. He had made out he was concerned about her welfare. She shook her head in disbelief but responded that she was okay, but had felt a little bit lonely and wanted to rekindle with him. But she fought off the urges and told him that they should probably leave it because the feeling will pass. But Stony didn't listen. He jumped straight in his car, made his way from Humberside all the way in the north of England to East Dulwich in London. Now, you might have thought Stony was a changed man by this point. Maybe he wanted to show everyone he was actively making steps to move away from old habits. But believe it or not, he'd actually stopped off at a service station for 2.5 hours to specifically go on some slot machines. So Stony would finally make it to Beatrice's house, and I know a lot of you might be thinking, after Beatrice said she felt lonely, he might be going there to rekindle things. But you'd be wrong. You see, when he arrived at the house, he texted, "I'm outside." Beatrice then came to the door, opened it slightly, but didn't want to let him inside, so he forced his way in. Once inside, he walked to his daughter's bedroom, slammed the door closed, and then unleashed a vicious knife attack on Beatrice. In total, she sustained 9 stab wounds to her chest and back, another to her thigh, and several to her hands and arm. After the fatal knife attack, she got on FaceTime to Cloudy and told him, "He barged in and stabbed me." Those were the last words she spoke before she passed out on camera. According to Cloudy, he saw the knife still was stuck in her chest. Her face and body were covered in blood, and he witnessed her pass out in front of his eyes. Neighbours instantly went to the address after hearing the commotion, and paramedics were called. At this point, believe it or not, she was still fighting for her life. She was breathing. She went on to be rushed to hospital, but ultimately would go on to be pronounced dead the following day just after 2 a.m. Police officers who attended found the couple's daughter in an extremely distressed state. She had to be guided through the blood-soaked hallway by police. So an investigation was opened into the incident, but it didn't take long for police to find the perpetrator, because less than an hour after the attack, Stony turned up to a police station and he handed himself in. He told police, "I've just murdered my wife." He was then arrested and charged. Recently, he pled guilty to the charge that was brought against him, and he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 18 years. So this story carries a message that being jealous and possessive really can destroy lives. Sometimes, no matter how hard a breakup is, you have to allow the other person and yourself to heal. You have to move on and accept the new path that you find yourself on. That's just the way it's got to go, because now Stony is sitting behind the walls of a prison, realistically over a TikTok video. Can we just let that one sink in for a moment? Not only that though, their daughter is now left without a mum or dad. She heard the murder took place, and as a child, that will stick with her for the rest of her life. For now though, give the video a like for more crime related content like this, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't. It's been me, Huncho, and I'll see you in the next one.